Good evening. Tonight, we bring you a shocking story out of Minneapolis, Minnesota story that has left a community in disbelief and forced everyone who knew the victim to confront a chilling reality. 35-year-old DJ Liara Tsai, known for her creativity, warmth, and vibrant presence in the local music scene, was brutally murdered by her ex-girlfriend, 33-year-old Margot Lewis. But this was no ordinary crime. After the attack, Lewis wrapped Tsai's body in bedding, futon-like mattress, and a tarp, then placed her in Tsai's own vehicle and drove across the state. Hours later, a crash on Interstate 90 near Iota revealed the horrifying truth. Two passersby stopped to help and discovered the deceased woman, while Lewis calmly unfolded a lawn chair and sat on the roadside as authorities arrived. It is a story of love turned deadly, obsession overtaking reason, and a relationship unraveling in the most tragic and disturbing way. Investigators later found signs of violence inside Tsai's home: blood-soaked bedding, missing knives, and evidence suggesting a struggle and an attempt to conceal the crime. Meanwhile, journals and notes painted a haunting contrast: Tsai writing poems of love and hope, while Lewis wrote about her fixation and desire to harm. The questions are unavoidable. How did a relationship built on trust and affection turn into lethal violence? Could anyone have seen the warning signs? And why did Lewis behave so strangely after the crime, sitting by the roadside as strangers discovered the body? Tonight, we will take you through the timeline of events, examine the evidence, and explore the psychology behind one of Minnesota's most shocking murders, a case that exposes the darkest side of intimate partner violence, obsession, and betrayal. Liara Tsai was celebrated within the Minneapolis arts community. Friends described her as radiant, endlessly creative, and deeply empathetic. She played at clubs, art spaces, and community events, blending electronic, indie, and experimental mixes that drew people into her world. Margot Lewis, by contrast, was more introverted, complex, and sometimes unpredictable. Those who knew her described her as intelligent and intense, but also prone to obsession and emotional volatility. Together, the two created a bond that was passionate but unstable, a connection that alternated between devotion and conflict, though they had broken up by early 2024. The emotional entanglement persisted. Liara continued sending messages and writing small poems for Margot, hoping for connection, while Margot began to document her darker thoughts. Her journals, later examined by investigators, revealed escalating obsession and violent fantasies. The divergence between their inner worlds was stark, one filled with hope and affection, the other consumed by control and resentment. On the morning of June 22, 2024, this volatile combination reached a breaking point. According to investigators, the attack occurred inside Tsai's Minneapolis apartment. When police later examined the scene, they found signs of struggle: blood on the bedroom floor and bedding, a missing knife from the kitchen block, a broken plastic and metal object, and containers of antifreeze. A small shovel was discovered nearby. The condition of the apartment suggested both sudden violence and an attempt to conceal evidence. The fatal injuria, deep stab wound to Tsai's neck, was delivered with force and precision, leaving her unable to call for help. Investigators concluded that she died quickly. What followed was almost surreal. Instead of seeking help or fleeing, Margot Lewis took deliberate steps to hide her crime. She wrapped Liara's body in layers of bedding and a tarp, placed the futon mattress underneath, and positioned the body in the back seat of Tsai's vehicle with care. Head toward the passenger seat, feet toward the driver's side. Then she drove, for hours, across the state. Experts in domestic homicide would later note that this phase, driving with a corpse in the vehicle, is characteristic of a specific psychological state, a combination of shock, denial, and an attempt at control. Margot's actions were deliberate, yet detached. Her behavior suggested she was operating on a strange, methodical autopilot rather than panicking or breaking down. The trip came to a dramatic end on a quiet, Stretch of Interstate 90 near Highway 42 and Iota tire tracks and forensic analysis revealed that Lewis had been traveling at high speed. She lost control of the vehicle and crashed. By chance, two Good Samaritans stopped to assist. They could not have anticipated what they were about to find. Upon opening the back door, they discovered Liara Tsai's lifeless body, still wrapped in bedding and positioned with care. Margot Lewis, astonishingly, remained calm. She unfolded a lawn chair, sat beside the road, and awaited the arrival of authorities. When deputies from the Olmsted County Sheriff's Office arrived, Tsai immediately recognized the scene as a homicide. The condition of the body made it clear that the fatal injuries occurred before the crash. The wrapping, the positioning, and the blood all told the story of premeditated violence. Lewis was taken into custody at the scene, showing minimal reaction and speaking little in the hours that followed. Minneapolis police executed a search warrant on Tsai's apartment. The scene inside corroborated the grim picture. Bloodstains, signs of struggle, and missing items suggested both violence and an attempt at concealment. The contrast between the victim's writings and those of the perpetrator became even more chilling. Liara's notes spoke of love, hope, and lingering affection. Lewis' journals documented obsession, anger, and a growing fixation on harming her former partner. Prosecutors described the murder as a profound betrayal. Assistant Hennepin County Attorney Aaron Lutz told the court that Tsai had been writing love poems to Lewis while Lewis was journaling her desire to kill. The disparity highlighted a tragic reality. One woman continued to love, the other planned destruction. During trial, Lewis remained unrepentant. In an attempted allocution, she insisted, "I loved her even when things got bad, and I never would have killed her." She repeatedly interrupted Judge Paul Scoggin during sentencing. The judge finally admonished, "Ma'am, this is not a discussion. Nothing more." Despite her demeanor, the court imposed an upward sentencing departure requested by the state, emphasizing the brutality of the crime, the deliberate concealment of the body, and the profound impact on Tsai's family and friends. Lewis was sentenced to 40 years in prison, with credit for 517 days served in pretrial detention. She also faces additional charges for hiding the body, ensuring that the legal consequences of her actions continue beyond the initial sentence. Psychologists and criminal behavior experts later analyzed Lewis's motivations. They identified multiple contributing factors: obsessive attachment, emotional instability, fear of abandonment, resentment, and a desire for control. While many domestic violence cases involve sudden passion or impulse, this case revealed a slow build-up fantasies documented in journals, planning of concealment, and an unsettling calm after the murder that marked it as both deliberate and psychologically complex. For investigators and the broader community, the case serves as a stark reminder of the hidden dangers of intimate partner relationships, where obsession and control can escalate to extreme violence. Liara Tsai's life, vibrant and promising, ended abruptly and tragically. Margot Lewis's actions, methodical yet emotionally detached, left a trail of heartbreak, questions, and a profound sense of loss. The story of Liara Tsai and Margot Lewis is not just another headline. It is a study in the extremes of human emotion, the consequences of obsession, and the devastating reality that love, when twisted by control and resentment, can become deadly. As authorities continue to examine the aftermath, the memory of Tsai, her music, her creativity, and the lives she touched remains, contrasting painfully with the horror of her final hours. In the end, this case challenges us to consider the warning signs of intimate partner violence, to recognize the quiet danger in obsessive behavior, and to confront the unsettling truth that sometimes the person closest to you can be the one who causes irreparable harm. And while justice has been served in the courtroom, the tragedy of that Minneapolis night will linger for all who knew Liara. Signed, for anyone who dares to examine the thin line between love and violence.